old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to another week of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. Hey, guys, it is popping in the studio today. We have an extremely special guest, someone I am so welcomed and so excited to have on the show, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, a soccer player, somebody who has survived cancer 2 times and survived Survivor, but I'll let him introduce himself. Welcome to the show, Ethan Zohn. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you.
I heard the pop, get the party started,
We got the
and
part.
we're
I'm
gonna
gonna
roll
pass
right
the bottle.
into. Oh,
Hold
great!
up.
Thank you. That's,
we gotta have a little cheers just
right.
to him being on the show.
Definitely.
It's important.
It is. All right, I'll put this back in the ice.
Yeah.
There we go.
Appreciate you coming out.
Cheers! Thanks for having me.
And Ethan, tried to give you the build-up of the intro.
Yes.
But could you let the viewers actually know who you are and what you're about? And actually, you are Massachusetts native,
Yes.
which is super cool in itself.
I agree. I grew up in Lexington, Massachusetts, right around the corner from where the studio is.
Awesome.
Went to Lexington High School. My mom, my brothers, they still live in Massachusetts. But I guess I'm best known for being the winner of Survivor Africa, which was filmed way back in 2001. And then I just kind of went on the whole reality television circuit for a little while. And eventually, later in my life, was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer in around 2008. And then now I'm just really excited to, still be alive.
Yes, and we're lucky to have you here.
Yes, and I'm really excited to be partnering with True Leaf Cannabis and be the brand ambassador for Momenta, and we can get into that.
Yeah, well, definitely going to get into that. Ethan has a lot going on, a lot of exciting things. I think the main thing I want to start with would be your first love and the first thing that you actually cared about, which, from my knowledge, is soccer.
Yeah.
Is that true?
The beautiful game.
The beautiful game of
beautiful
soccer.
Game. Yes, soccer is my life. Like I said, I played, all through high school, all through college. And then fortunately, after college, I was bouncing around the professional leagues here in Massachusetts. I played for the Cape Cod Crusaders, Boston Bulldogs
Shout
for a
out
little
the
while.
Bulldogs.
Yeah. And then I traveled. I played in Hawaii for the Hawaii Tsunami.
Okay.
But the most incredible soccer experience I had was I got to travel to Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Wow.
And I played in the Zimbabwe Premier League for a team called the Highlanders Football Club, which was insane.
What was that like?
It was an incredible experience just because, back around, we're talking around.
You
late
aging
night.
yourself?
I'm
Don't
aging
age
myself.
yourself.
All right, somewhere in the 99,
Somewhere
2000s.
around there.
Before Survivor, I was playing over in the Premier League there. But, being an American, I was definitely different than everyone I was playing with. I was one of 2 white people on an entire, African team in an African league. So we'd roll into these stadiums. There'd be 40, 50,000 people and 2 white folks like myself. So that experience in itself was eye-opening. I'd never been, in that type of, situation. But they were totally welcoming, but I didn't speak the same language. I looked different. I ate different foods, so it was just, I was like an alien to them.
Yeah.
But while I was there, soccer is their life. It is, they save up all their money all week just so they can buy a ticket on the weekend to come see the games.
Wow. Did they teach you, do you feel like, as much as you maybe taught or gave to them when you were over there as well?
I don't think I taught them so much. But I definitely learned from, being a professional over there.
Yeah.
I mean, the dedication and passion that they have for the game. If they don't make the team, they don't play. If they don't play, they don't get paid. If they don't get paid, they don't eat. And
Right.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
These aren't players where they're making millions of dollars like you see in the English Premier League.
Right.
These are
They're
local.
doing because they love it.
Yeah.
It's passion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when I was there, one of the strongest memories I have, and this can get into kind of where I went from after soccer, is, my team, the Highlanders, we all smush into these tiny white little vans and we travel these long, dusty roads to get to all our away games. And along the side of the roads, I saw these graveyards. And some of these graveyards, the headstones are perfectly organized, one right after another. But then other areas, there were these wooden crosses piled high. Some were overflowing on the street. So I asked one of my teammates, the starting keeper, Amon, like, dude, why are some people buried like this and other people buried like that? And he looked at me, he says, well, that's where they bury all the people that die of AIDS. So for me, to see a physical representation of everyone that was dying of this disease was shocking to me. People are dying. Everyone knows why. No one's doing anything about it, including myself. But at that time in my life, I'm like, what can one person do to help this massive problem in all of Africa? So I didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah. I said I was 27 years old. I wasn't making a lot of money. I'm like, it's in a land far away. Someone else will deal with it.
And that's a lot of things in our life because we're not face to face every day with those issues or those problems. It's easy to put it out of your mind and be like, let's just, move on with our lives. But guess what? This whole earth is just one. We are all really just unified, and we need to be, observant of those issues so that we can contribute to that. Which is something that you did do in the future.
Yeah, I did do. Yeah. I mean, what turned the corner for me was, after I got home, I got a letter from one of my buddies over there telling me that the starting goalkeeper, the guy I trained with every single day for a year, got sick with HIV, progressed to AIDS, and ended up passing away in a very lonely, horrible way. He was kicked off the team, ostracized from the community. He was a sports hero. Kids were running up to him, asking for their autographs. The second they found out he was HIV positive, it was like he didn't exist on the planet.
Yep.
And that just wasn't
It's like leprosy almost.
And so that was just something more difficult to get through. However, I was chosen to be on the TV show Survivor, and that kind of just changed my life.
Yes.
Changed the trajectory of my life.
And can I just ask you, because I don't know the background to exactly, how did you get chosen? Like, how did you find out about going on Survivor? And was that actually related to like the mental and physical, strain and dedication you put yourself with training for soccer all those years? Did that have anything to do with you wanting to be on Survivor?
Well, I feel like Survivor started in around 1999, 2000.
Yeah,
so
it was fresh in the game,
fresh,
like brand new on TV.
We got to hop in our little time machine, go back. Everyone who's watching, this is when reality TV just started. It was just on the upward spiral.
Yep.
And so, we're talking
Me and
third
my family
season.
used to sit together in the living room like, Survivor's coming on, everybody get ready, get your popcorn.
I know. I mean, I was too when I watched it. And then, being an athlete and loving the competition side of Survivor, loving the concept of pushing your body, mind, spirit to the actual maximum limit, and doing that on the world stage in front of millions of viewers is something that I kind of got off on. I like that stuff, So Survivor's a game that touches on every part of you as a human being: mental, physical, social, spiritual, environmental, financial.
Definitely.
And there's nothing else like that out there.
And it's like, if I can get through that, then what else can I do?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I would just, you never... At the time, I made a video on VHS. Do you know what VHS is?
I do know what VHS is. I have some in my house.
Yay. All right. So I was editing my video on two VCRs and a VHS tape. I sent in my video. The funny thing was I made it with my buddy.
Wait, your audition tape was a VHS though?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's serious.
I know,
I get
right?
it. Yep.
And that was, I was bored. I was unemployed. I told my mom I was in between life choices.
Yep.
Everyone out there, if you're listening, you were never unemployed in life. You're always in between life choices.
Always. There's always something better coming. Right. So don't give up.
Don't ever give up. And so, after, I got a job in New York City, didn't work out, tried to play soccer, didn't work out, coach, didn't work out. So after all these epic failures in my life, I'm like, let's throw a freaking tape to Survivor, see what happens. And my buddy, we were running around New York City one day. There may not have been champagne or alcohol involved. I don't know.
May or may
not have been. But we got the video done. And I was supposed to make a video for him, and he was supposed to make a video for me. But we ran out of time for him, and we just sent him my video.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. And so,
did he ever forgive you?
Yeah, I mean, I took care of it.
Okay, all right. There was compensation.
Yeah, it was.
And so from you actually getting on the show, the winning aspect of it is like a whole nother level, because to be on Survivor, to go through it, maybe get knocked out in the first couple, whatever, rounds, but to actually make it to the end, I think it's 39 days in the wilderness. So if you've never seen Survivor, 39 days in the wilderness, no cell phones, you have to fend for yourself, no clothing, food, you're making your shelter, you're losing weight, like from when you see the beginning to after pictures, you're literally a whole nother being. What actually pushed you mentally to get through Survivor? do you actually remember it? Do you feel like it's a past life now, or do you still have like dreams about it?
Well,
I can't even imagine.
I've run it on a loop in my house. You know, it's on TV all
He's
the
actually
time,
all
right?
the walls.
You know, it is a incredible game because there are so many different ways to play, so many different ways to win. But bottom line, Survivor's a game of relationships. It's how you interact with the other players that determine how far and how well you go in the game. It's one 39-day networking event. How can you sell your ideas and, you know, sell your ideas to the other people out there to get them to come along with you? And it's a really interesting game because Survivor is a game where you need to make friends with these people, friendships based on trust, but you can't trust anyone.
Right.
And then everyone I vote out, they're the ones that come back and decide if they want to give you $1 million. Right. So you got to do this in such a way where when they do come back, they like you enough, they respect you, or they value your gameplay, where they actually want to give you $1 million.
Right.
And that's a really complex.
That's like a business like relation game almost. It's mental. It's crazy.
It's mental. It's physical. It's social, and all those things are a huge impact in the game. So, like, you can't be too good. You can't be too bad. You can't be too loud, too quiet, too strong, too weak. You can't be the ultimate provider. So there's like this kind of, you got to be
balanced,
the best balanced and well-rounded human. But like I said, that's the way I played. You know, my whole concept of playing the game, and I learned this growing up, was I wanted to be a member of the community out there. I wanted to be a crucial member to everyone else's survival. So without me, they would struggle. So if they voted me out, their game would suck.
Right.
That's the role I wanted to play.
And I feel like you hit that nail on the head.
I think I did. I think I did a pretty good job.
Because at the end of, season 3, right?
Yep.
Ethan was actually the winner of the $1 million. And I know you guys listening are like, oh, snap, Ethan won $1 million. What did he do? Did he buy an amazing house? Did he get the nicest car? No, he actually donated it and started and founded a nonprofit organization called Grassroots.
Yep.
And I would love to hear you kind of talk about why. And I'm assuming it did also relate to your friend that you knew from Zimbabwe when you had gone out there. So yeah.
So I co-founded Grassroots Soccer when I returned from Survivor in around 2003. But one of the main reasons why was, yes, my experience in Zimbabwe and witnessing firsthand what was happening with, HIV and AIDS was a huge impact to me. Losing my friend Amon, major deal. However, on the game Survivor, when I was playing, I won one of those reward challenges where I won 2 goats, which I wasn't so happy about.
You won 2 goats?
I won 2 goats was the reward.
Pet goats?
Pet goats.
Oh, wow.
Pet goats. And which I was pissed about because everyone gets food or
just gonna carry these around? What do I do with these goats?
But I got to take these goats to this little village of Wamba. And before I left this little village of Wamba, which is in the middle of Kenya, I was hanging out in the parking lot of Wamba Hospital, and it was no bigger than this studio right now. And all these little Kenyan children came out, and they were touching my white skin. They were playing with my jufro, they had never seen anyone like me before.
Right.
And that's when I busted out a hacky sack, a little mini soccer ball.
Yeah.
Because on Survivor, you're allowed to bring one item that reminds you of your life away from the game of Survivor.
That was your one item?
That was my one item, was a hacky sack.
To remind you of soccer.
Yeah, to remind me of soccer,
That's
right?
beautiful.
Yeah,
okay.
So these kids came out, I got this hacky sack, and actually the hacky sack was a gift my father had given to me before he passed away. So there's this emotional connection to this thing. So I started playing hacky sack for these kids, and we're laughing and we're smiling, and we're connecting through the sport that we both love. That's a memory of my father. And it was just this incredible moment. And I asked one of the nurses, why are these kids just hanging out in the parking lot of a hospital? And she looked at me. She says, well, these are the kids that are HIV positive. So here I was in this middle of this game, this cutthroat game of Survivor, and I had that real life experience. And it was at that moment I decided that something has to be done. Because
you're there right now surviving with no means of anything for reality TV in a way, and then it hits you wow, these kids are not having a choice in a reality TV show.
Yeah.
This is real life every single day for them. And you can be ostracized just for having a disease that you didn't choose.
Correct.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing a game.
Right.
I was pretending to be African for $1 million. So that just didn't sit well with me.
Right.
So when I got back from the show, I had $1 million in my pocket. I had 15 minutes of fame, which was up 10 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago.
I think it might be coming back around though.
Thanks to you, right? Hey. And so I met up with some of my soccer buddies, guys that I played with in Africa and here in the United States. And we co-founded a charity called Grassroots Soccer.
And Grassroots Soccer, actually, I believe I have my number correct.
Yeah.
1.9 million children, and maybe in counting or more, since that fact has come out, have graduated from your Grassroots Soccer program.
Yes.
What exactly do you guys give or implement to these children through Grassroots?
Well, I don't know how familiar you are with soccer, but soccer is the most popular sport in the world.
Yes.
Like if you wrap all the major league and minor league sports in America into one, that's how popular soccer is in the rest of the world, right? So the way Grassroots Soccer works is we train professional soccer players, professional coaches, and peer leaders in the community with a curriculum that we developed on adolescent health and HIV and AIDS education. And then we send them into the classrooms or the soccer fields or the churches or the temples to deliver these health interventions. So, these players, these leaders, they are the leaders. They are the role models. They are the heroes of the community.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the impact when we send these players out there, the kids, their eyes pop open, their jaws drop,
right.
And we can change their behavior and they can go out there and lead a healthier lifestyle.
That's amazing. And, shout out to you and all your partners and everybody who has worked to put that together. And until this day, is there a donation or somewhere that if anyone listening in, they want to give to your charity?
Sure.
Is there somewhere that they could give to that?
They definitely, if you're inspired to make a contribution, you can visit grassrootssoccer.org. And just to go back on that one little stat you had, because we just updated all our stats.
Oh, yes, please
that was a
let
little
me
bit
know.
old. We are now in 60 countries, and we've graduated 13 million kids from the program.
Did you just say, I just said 1.9 and now you're saying 13? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Congratulations. That is amazing. And you guys are actually taking over. This is going to become a global soccer monopoly for all those kids in need out there, mentally, physically, who need that to actually move forward every day, because that's all we can give, And I just want to thank you, too, for opening up about your story about winning the $1 million, because a lot of people might not understand why you had done that. When you're actually given fame and fortune, and it's now what do you do with it? What is the next step? That choice is on you, and that choice can make a ripple effect in the future for so many other people in the community around you, or in third world countries that you might not think about in your regular day basis. So it's just, when you're put in an opportunity where you get something given to you, think about how you can use that to help the people around you. It's never just for us, and if you make it just about you, sometimes those tables can come back around. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's beautiful.
And after, winning Survivor, getting the money, you start your foundation, you're feeling good, everything's going positively. You actually came across an obstacle in your life, a very large obstacle that kind of, projected you forward into your future, I guess you could say, through negative and through positive. And you were diagnosed with cancer, and you actually were diagnosed twice, and you survived twice. Could you tell us about that journey? And how did you actually push yourself through that?
Sure. Well, in 2008, I had just finished dribbling a soccer ball from Boston, Massachusetts to Washington, D.C. to raise awareness for grassroots soccer, 550 miles. And,
I did not know about that.
And so we finished December 1st, which is World AIDS Day.
Were you tired?
Yeah,
to say the least.
Pretty darn tired, yes. It wasn't like a speed challenge. It took us probably about month and a half.
Gotcha.
Because every day I'd probably run maybe 15 to 25 miles dribbling a soccer ball, and then we'd have an event or a soccer clinic or a speech or something along those lines. So trying to educate people along the way. But at the end, around December, I just started to have some really itchy skin. And I didn't know what was going on inside my body. I tried every pill, cream, potion, lotion known to man. And it wasn't until a swollen lymph node popped out of my neck, and they found a 6 centimeter by 12 centimeter mass in my chest. And I was diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer called CD20 positive Hodgkin's lymphoma. Trust me, I never heard of it either. Don't worry.
I knew the word, but I couldn't say it. So I was like, I'm not gonna crush this.
It's a tough word. Yeah. So, I went through multiple rounds of chemotherapy, 22 blasts of radiation, and a stem cell transplant.
Wow.
And,
was that over a couple year span?
Yeah. So this is now we're looking at 2009 to 2011.
Okay.
And, it was, there were some pretty dark days going through treatment, times where I felt like my whole body turned against me.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, my hair was falling out, I had no energy. And, as a patient, it's really hard to articulate what it feels like to be seriously ill.
Yeah.
It pays to have a positive outlook. Yeah. But when your entire team of doctors try multiple ways of healing you that don't work, you panic.
Of course.
You freak out.
Of course.
You just crave survival. I just wanted to live for another day. Yeah. And unfortunately, after my transplant, 20 months later, I relapsed. The cancer came back. And getting the news that the cancer returned was...
So you had already left in remission from the hospital and everything. And
yeah.
then you were, okay.
Yeah, I left in remission around 2011. I actually went and I did the Amazing Race.
Oh my gosh, in between all of this,
yes.
You did the Amazing Race. Okay. If that doesn't motivate you, listeners, I don't know what will. Get your ass up and do
didn't do
something.
well on the Amazing Race, but I did compete in it, which is a whole different show than Survivor, but same network. But Amazing Race is, you're with a pair and you try to travel around the world. So I did that. And when I got back from that, same thing again. Itchy skin was there. I was like, fuck, it's back. And that anxiety and the fear at that moment, crap, this thing is back inside my body. It's trying to kill me. What am I going to do? And getting the news that the cancer returned was completely deflating, exponentially more difficult than the first time around.
Right.
Because I had already had chemo, radiation. I had already had a transplant. I was running out of options.
Right.
And, this is when I prayed. I prayed for a silver lining. I prayed for ray of hope. I prayed for a fucking miracle,
Yeah.
And do you know what a miracle looks like to cancer patients?
What does it look like?
It's like successful research and new drugs.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And lucky for me, at that exact moment of time, just when I needed it the most, a new smart targeted therapy emerged on the market and was available for a select group of people in my exact situation.
It was meant to be.
Meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So anyone out there, if I am so inspired by, there are complete strangers out there running marathons, riding bikes, selling cookies, doing whatever they're doing to raise money for cancer research that funded a drug that saved my life. So to me, that's inspiring.
That is inspiring.
That's what this is all about. And so, lucky for me, I got this on this new drug, got the cancer into remission. I was able to go and get a second stem cell transplant, this time using my brother Lee as the donor. So my brother's DNA is now inside. So I could actually murder you right now.
And it would be my brother.
It'll be brother. As long as I don't leave a fingerprint.
You're like a superhero, kind of.
Right? Yeah. Don't piss me off. Yeah.
That's amazing, though, and I just so inspiring, and thank you for sharing your story and being able to talk about that, because there's so many people who are going through the same thing right now who are listening in and wondering themselves, how do I get through the next day? And you know what, just hearing from you, sometimes there is no answer to that. Do you know what I mean? It's just actually believing and trying and knowing whatever the future has in store, that is your destiny and that's your journey, and being okay with that. And I feel like you accepted cancer into your lifestyle and you turned it around into a positive way. And I actually just want to quote you, if you don't mind, from a video, from one of your videos, but you said that you made yourself a megaphone for young adult cancer generations, which really hits home with me, because there are so many people between the ages of 25 to 35 or 25 to 40 who are going through the struggle in silence, who are going through the struggle alone and feeling like there's nobody who understands. So you speaking out about it and just in general being open about your story can inspire those to be able to push forward. And how do you feel that you are actually being a megaphone for the generations, and what work have you done since you are in remission from the second form of cancer?
Yeah, there's a lot there. My, when I was going through cancer, I was I actually had an experience. I was with my mom. I was going for my fourth chemotherapy treatment in Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City with my mom, walked up to the 4th floor, turned the corner, walked in the waiting room. And what punched me in the stomach, what punches me in the stomach every single time is that it's always full. It's just jam-packed. And we sit there like strangers, yet we're so connected by this horrible disease. Yeah. So I was sitting down, my mom was sitting next to me, and right across the way, there's this little girl and her mom having a complete meltdown because she was about to be whisked away to start her treatment. And my mom got up, she walked over to this woman, she put her arm around her. She says, "That's my son over there. He's got cancer too, and he's gonna be okay." And so the fact that, to share in that moment, to provide that comfort to that woman, made me realize that it is important to open up my life, to share the details of my story, because I feel the details of my story may have the opportunity to help someone else out there. So I will run marathons, I'll show up on speeches, I'll come up on podcasts, anywhere I can share my story is what I want to do, because the most effective tool we have as a cancer community, or any community, is to share your story. The more we let people know what cancer is all about and how it makes you feel, the more change is going to be able to take place. Exactly. And I truly and firmly believe that. So when I say I'm a megaphone, I didn't see anyone else that looked like me going through cancer. There's older adults, there's younger pediatrics, there's no young adults. And I was on the older age of a young adult. Yeah. The actual definition is 15 to 39 years old is a young adult. And there's a whole host of issues that a young adult cancer survivor faces that everyone else doesn't. When you're older, you got health insurance, you're married, your life's pretty set. Right. When you're pediatric, your parents are taking care of you. But you're a young adult. Once I survived cancer, I have my whole life to live. Yeah. I got to get insurance. I got to get a job. There's fertility. There's marriage. There's kids. There's debt. What do you do? Right. And that, being in that situation with the fear that the cancer may come back, and the dump trucks full of uncertainty, the invisible scars that need healing, the fear of the relapse, the anxiety of just trying to pick up my pieces and try to live my life again was debilitating for me. It got to the point, we were chatting earlier about anxiety and depression, I was in a dark place, a really dark place, to the point where I wasn't able to I wasn't living a healthy lifestyle, just put it that way. You weren't even yourself anymore at that point. Yeah. No. I was consumed by the fear and the ruminations of negative thoughts in my head, and I couldn't get out of it. Yeah. It was this horrible cycle of thoughts of death, and it was just the worst part about it. But then, lucky for me. And then lucky for him, we came across cannabis. We found cannabis. I don't, but we could, I don't want to glorify I feel like our singing was enough right there. But no, honestly, and I just also, want to say that when you're talking about this, you said that when we are in this world, we're all going to be, we're all going to die. And until we die, we're all going to have to live. Yeah. And it's just making the most of each day and the crises while we're here and, trying to make that better and figure that out. And that's what you did with this, through the anxiety, through the depression, the negative thoughts. You're like, okay, if none of this medication is working, if, I'm still not there yet where I am at the point of being healthy or in remission, what can I do to take away some of the anxiety or the stress? And you turned to using CBD tincture, and I know there was a specific company and product that you were actually using when you started using CBD. And what was that company that you I'd love to back up just to give you some oh, please. Yeah, because it started when I was going through cancer. I as an athlete, played soccer my whole life. I never touched cannabis. I smoked weed second semester my senior year. Don't tell my mom, but I did. Mom, if you're listening. Mom, I'm sorry. I love you. But it just wasn't my thing, you know? And so, but when I was diagnosed with cancer, obviously, I aware and read about that cannabis can help the side effects of cancer treatment. So all right, I was crushing, prescribed so many pills. I was taking Xanax for anxiety, Ativan for nausea, Zofran for nausea, Percocet for pain, and then be ripping an Adderall in the morning just to get enough energy to go to the doctors to get more meds. Right. So they were pumping me full of these synthetic meds, which is which is okay because they saved my life. I'm not against Western medicine, but I was looking for some alternative.
But there are side effects to synthetic medication.
Side effects, yes.
Like when you hear the commercials and they're like, oh, this is so great. And it's like, getting this and you could die and you could get this. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So I was afraid of that. So I wanted to explore the whole medical cannabis stuff, but I couldn't get it because it was illegal. So here I was on the streets of New York City, bald with chemo, gloves and a mask, talking to my drug dealer who not only selling weed, he's selling everything else you sell in New York City.
Right.
And I didn't know what was in this stuff. Mold sprayed with carcinogens, how it was grown, pesticides. And now I'm doing an illegal activity on top of having cancer was just like,
it's a whole nother level of stress.
You shouldn't have to do that
right.
as a cancer patient.
Right.
And this is 2009. Obviously, we've seen the industry grow, which is great. And especially just got passed in New York and New Jersey. But whoop, whoop. So and then once I was there, I'm like, I need to try to help other people and educate other people on the benefits of medical cannabis and how you can get access to it.
Right.
And then you heard, once I was deemed in remission, the doctors, they just send you home. They just send you home with a bag full of freaking pills.
Because and what else can they do for you? They're like, all right, take
thanks
care of
very
yourself
much.
now.
You're on your own. And you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
And and I was definitely, this is at the height of the opioid issues. I'm like, I didn't want to get sucked into that world.
Of course.
So I was just looking for other ways. And that's when I found CBD, which was helping me with my anxiety. Yeah. And the company I was working with back then was called Mont Kush.
Mont Kush, yes.
It's a 116-acre hemp farm right up in Plainfield, Vermont. And they provide and create all organic CBD rosin for tinctures, capsules, gummies, all that stuff. And they're still around, great company. Awesome. However, sometimes when CBD isn't enough, you need to kind of, veer out. And so I found when, I was like raging with anxiety or having a particularly bad episode, I would need to lean a little bit more on THC products. So I would lean on like a tincture of a 1-to-1 CBD to THC ratio. And I found that Momenta's, ratio products, which is a product of Trulieve, was my go-to. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome. And, Momenta actually in itself has many products aside from just tinctures or CBDs. They actually have different gels for muscle pain, muscle relief. So it's talking about the modern medicine options that we have these days, guys, is very important to not get sucked into, prescriptions are fine. And like we're saying, if you're on cancer and you're being prescribed medicine, that's what you need for your body, great. But there is a point where you have to take it in your own hands and say, what is good for me at this point? Should I keep taking this prescription anxiety medication that has all these side effects on me? Or would this little bit of CBD maybe help me a little more, take away the anxiety, and I would not get those side effects? And I want to thank you too for even shouting out that it helped with these for you, because like we said, off air earlier, and my audience knows this, but it's very important for me, being a young woman who has dealt with anxiety and depression for many years in my life. And, not from going through cancer, not from anything like that, but sometimes we internally struggle. Mental struggle sometimes can be as debilitating as a physical struggle. And I want to put that out there, the audience, so you guys know if you're going through this right now, it's okay sometimes to try different avenues and outlets. And for me, I never felt okay using prescription medication. So I told Ethan I had moved into the cannabis sector and I started experimenting with different types. And at first I couldn't find what worked for me. But when you actually start implementing it based on like, okay, is sativa better than indica? Or, is the tincture better for me than even using bud or flower? Sometimes you can actually find a solution to your problems through different elements. So that's all I'm saying. It's up to the person, it's up to the individual, and also up to your health conditions. But it is a great option for people who are experiencing any symptoms like me or Ethan have both experienced throughout our lifetimes.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, no, I encourage anyone, check with the doctor first.
Of course, thank you.
I'm coming at this whole world from a medical perspective.
Yes,
I understand it definitely has value in the recreational world. Listen, we've all gone there.
Yes.
But for me, I'm really dialing it in from the medical side. And why I find, Momenta and True Leaf's products, they really focus on research, patient education, and providing like a quality product with consistency. And that's just been one of the things that I've struggled with. You get a product from here, you don't feel it. You get, one from over here, you're just totally like blanked out.
Right.
I'm not a smoker. I use tinctures, I use capsules, and I use the pain creams and the cooling gels from this brand specifically. But it's consistent and it's safe and it's quality, and you know that every single time. And that's what's exciting about the industry now. All brands, they're really. It's not. I'm speaking to the people. Cannabis isn't bad. It's not a gateway drug. It's not illegal anymore. It's decriminalized.
Yes.
So like anyone who may not enjoy the way they feel when taking all these meds. I'm not saying you have to eliminate them all the way, but maybe you can lessen the amount you're taking and try to lean a little bit more on medical cannabis.
Yes.
And I think you could find a good balance. That's all about, that's everything I've been trying to do. I'm just trying to find balance in my life. Like I've been used to living on extremes, crazy survivor, ultra, high intensity, get that cortisol pumping.
Yeah.
And that's one end. And then like really bad, low, cancer, sick, sad, depressed. So I got to find my way to the middle.
What's the nice middle?
And cannabis has helped me wind my way to finding a balance in my life.
Yep. And that's, everybody listening in who is also on, that similar route, or if you're just considering it or you've been considering it, do, like Ethan said, we're all different. Do your own research, talk to your doctors, go to a dispensary, talk to the professionals at the dispensary. You don't have to jump right in, but it is a viable option these days that we are very lucky to have. And we're very lucky that you had it, Ethan, to deal with some of that anxiety. And, speaking of Momenta and momentum and motivation and everything that you've been doing that has led you, to this point, to be here today, to get through all of this, you're still continuing in, you're still going forward, you still do marathons, you still cycle, and everything in between, soccer tournaments, all of that. And you actually just got the go-ahead or the announcement. Do you want to make the big announcement? I feel like you can say it better.
This is the second. It just got launched, but yeah. Give me some drum roll here. But yes, it is official. I am officially running the Boston Marathon on April 18th to celebrate being 10 years in remission from cancer, partnering with True Leaf and Momenta to raise money and awareness for Active Against Cancer.
Woo!
Boom!
Boom, 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 boom! That's amazing. That's amazing.
Like you said, that for me, this is like my whole life kind of coming to this point.
It's like a 360.
It is. My dad, who passed away when I was 14 from cancer, he ran the Boston Marathons. I'll be following in his footsteps. Your dad was
also an athlete?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a marathoner, and then he died. But and then so 10 years in remission. My dad, last time I ran Boston was in 2013 with the terrorist attack. So I was pulled off the course at mile 24. So I get to come back. I'm going to be finishing Boston strong. But really, and we'll be running right by the True Leaf shop in Framingham where I met you for the first time. Yeah. So I might just run inside and, pop a... give me one of those and get on there. I wanted to run with like a happy sack where I could just give away like free like 1 milligram gummies to everyone. You want one? Here, yeah.
Come visit True Leaf and Momentum. And I do just want to shout out True Leaf in Framingham that is going to be coming very soon. Yeah. It is the 3rd dispensary in Massachusetts around this area for the True Leaf company. They already have hundreds in Florida.
160 nationwide.
160?
True Leaf is the largest multi-state operator in the U.S. with 160 dispensary storefronts.
Wow.
11 states. It's ridiculous.
And how lucky are we in Massachusetts to be getting one now?
Very lucky.
Right down the street from my studio, actually, which is like super convenient.
Very convenient.
Very convenient. But for this 360 and bringing everything around circle, how do you feel that like your story as a cancer survivor, being somebody who's coming out talking about using a product that is not decriminalized in all 50 states yet, do you feel like you've gotten any pushback or that it's been a very positive experience and that you're, getting good outreach from the community once you've put your story out there about starting to use CBD and cannabis?
In general, it's been positive, but there has been some, negative reactions, which I understand. If this isn't your avenue for health, that's okay. But my goal here is to just like little incremental shifts in perception. That's my whole goal here.
That's key.
It's totally key. Like, I just want to let people, I think a lot of people exercise, they use cannabis on a daily basis, but they're not talking about it.
Right.
Because of this stigma associated with it. Like, I don't want to be seen with it. It's a bad thing. It's druggies. I don't want to walk into a dispensary. It must be this like dark, dungy, crazy place.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's
totally not. Like that True Leaf shop, it's beautiful.
Right. For example, can I say, because we did go to the True Leaf media event the other day, and anyone listening in who doesn't know this, I have a regular job on top of doing the podcast. So I had left my regular job early to go to True Leaf, and I was, my coworkers like, oh, they know I have the podcast. Oh, what are you doing for the podcast? What's the business you're going to? And I was kind of like, a dispensary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't let anybody know. But in my mind, in my heart, that's not how I feel about it. Right. But you have to be respectful to everyone. And then I go back the next day and they're like, how did everything go? Blah, blah, blah. I showed it to them. And they were like, it looks like a little bakery shop. They were like, wait, it kind of really is. Like, you go and you get baked. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, guys, it is. Right. But the thing is, that's how far we're coming, that like, people don't understand the concept of, you think of cannabis, you think of a dispensary, you think of it being a little sketchy, blah, blah, blah. You go in and it looks like a high class, like we got wood floors, you got the cases, like with all the products in it.
It's like an Apple store.
It's safe. It's like an Apple store, exactly. And you can look and see what products you're getting and talk to professionals before you get it, just like buying a cell phone. Yeah. Go make sure you like the products, you like, what you're getting in it, and then you make your decision. So if you haven't been to True Leaf, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go to the Framingham one, opening soon. You can hit me up for details. And Ethan, I also have one more surprise question for you. I don't think I wasn't gonna let you prepare for this one, but okay. So I do ask all my guests on the show, and I kind of gave you a little, background story of why I had started the podcast. So I'm just wondering, within your perspective of, going through, cancer and surviving, going through Survivor and surviving, and just, being a motivated person in general, what does it mean to you to be an old soul in a young world? For any of those listening in who might feel a little out of place or confused, or maybe they're sick right now and they're going through the struggle, and, just what does that kind of mean to you?
Well, being an old soul in a young world, well, I do feel like I'm a little bit of an old soul in this room, at least. I feel that if you can take a piece of yourself and you can impart that wisdom on other people, that they can carry forward in their life, I think that's... my mom, there's a quote, I think it's Maya Angelou, like, a bird does not sing because it has an answer, it sings because it has a song. And so I truly believe that we're like, this is my song, this is my story, this is my legacy. So if I can, by sharing this, I can impart some information on other people out there that they can move forward in their life. I think that's a good thing.
Yes. That is fire.
That is fire.
And I had one problem this morning, and I was wondering if you could help me with it.
I might be able to.
I was real hungry. Yeah. I was coming to the studio. We were gonna meet. I was a little bit of a rush. Yeah. I made a bowl of cereal. I put some milk in there, and then I had to get ready. I had to take a phone call. I got kind of busy.
Did you do your hair?
I was doing my hair. My hair takes a while.
Same.
Go back, take a bite of my cereal.
What happened?
It was so soggy. I threw that bowl of cereal down the drain, and I was like, what am I going to do about this problem? I come to the studio today, and Ethan had my solution. I swear to God, you guys aren't ready for this. Ethan, what did you got for me?
Are you sick and tired of soggy cereal?
I am so tired.
I'm going to revolutionize the cereal eating experience in one big scoop. I'm going to put the crunch back in brunch. Are you sick and tired of flimsy flakes?
So tired.
Well, I invented the Crunch Bowl, everyone. If you imagine a swimming pool's got a shallow end and it's got a deep end. Same with the Crunch Bowl, everyone. You put your cereal up top, you put your milk down below, and you want a little crunch, you just tap, tap, tap right over the edge. You see right here, we have the Crunch Wall, so you can load the shallow end with your cereal. You put your milk in the deep end. We have the cereal slide, but it also works as a milk chute. It's got an ergonomically handheld design, lefty and righty. It's got your spoon rest right here. Microwave safe, dishwasher safe, non-slip grip on the back. It's stackable. This is the Super Bowl, and it's not only good for cereal, it's good for chips, dip, salad dressing, soup, crackers, French fries. You got your buds down here, you got your shake up here, and then you gotta dry your joints right on the crunch wall. And then when you're done, you just snack on it too, right? And where's your cell phone? You got your cell phone right here? And if you're like me and you just like to sit home and Netflix and chill on yourself, you can do that, right? Oh, little popcorn, little Netflix. It is the ultimate bowl, the Super Bowl. Get your cereal bowl right now.
We did not plan that, I swear. And we did not plan that either. This is unplanned. This is real. And that's the best part about having people like Ethan on the show who are real and down to earth and willing to share their story. Thank you so much for just being you and being able to open up for those out there who cannot, for those who do not have a voice, for those people in Africa who are still struggling to this day, who need our help and need us to speak up for them. Is there anything, Ethan, that you want to say to the audience, or any of your plugs for your social media or anything, if anyone is interested in reaching out to you and getting some more of your enlightenment?
Well, that's a wonderful, you just good softball setup. But yeah, I mean, if you want to check me out, at Ethan Zohn on Instagram. But, one of my favorite quotes is from Dr. Martin Luther King. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands in moments of challenge and controversy. And so I highly encourage everyone out there that if you are going through a challenge in life, like we said before, how can you use that challenge? How can you use that crisis to do good in the world? And you mentioned that quote there's only two things in life that we can be absolutely certain about. One, we're all gonna have to die.
Yep.
And two, we're all gonna have to live until we die. So how are you going to live?
And on that note, guys, there's nothing else to be said. Make sure that you consider what we talked about today. How are you going to live? How do you stay motivated? How do you keep yourself going? How do you motivate those around you and help your community so that we can all come up together? It's not about one of us eating or one of us making it. It's about all of us unifying so that we can all come up. So, make sure you go and check out Ethan Zohn. Make sure you check out True Leaf. Make sure you check out Momenta.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. You will see Ethan running using Momenta products in the Boston Marathon coming up in a couple months. You guys don't want to miss it. Follow him on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram for more details. We got a lot coming in the grand opening of Truly very soon. Tune in with me again next week on Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jessie Ellie.